IRA or 401k. Knowing the key differences between these two popular retirement plans can ensure you are saving in the right account. Hi, I'm Will Hoffman, founder and president of Hoffman Wealth Management, where we specialize in working with busy families and active retirees, helping them navigate the complicated scenarios of their wealth while creating the life that they desire. Individual retirement accounts, or IRAs, and 401ks share a lot of similarities. They are both retirement plans. They both can help you lower your tax bill today, provide tax-deferred growth, and help provide an income source in retirement. But there are also many differences between IRAs and 401ks. Some are relatively benign and probably won't impact you very much, but other differences can make one type of an account far superior to the other in particular situations. With that in mind, today we explore 5 things you can do with an IRA that you cannot do with a 401k. The first is make a qualified charitable distribution. Qualified charitable distributions allow IRA owners and IRA beneficiaries aged 70 and a half or older to send up to $100,000 from their IRA account directly to a charity without including any of that amount in their income. If you make a qualified charitable distribution, you won't get a charitable deduction. But by never adding the income to your tax return in the first place, it often still results in a lower tax bill than if you had taken a normal IRA distribution and made a regular charitable contribution. In no case would your tax bill be higher. As an added bonus, your qualified charitable distribution can be used to offset all or a portion of your required minimum distribution after your required beginning age. The second is to take a penalty-free distribution for higher education expenses. In general, distributions taken from a retirement account prior to age 59 and a half are subject to income tax and an additional 10% early distribution penalty. The law does, however, provide for a number of exceptions to this rule. One such exception is available if you use your IRA to pay for higher education expenses. For example, college tuition, books, required supplies, and a computer for school are just a few. For yourself or for certain other family members, such as your children. Note that this exception is only available if you take money out of an IRA prior to age 59 and a half. If you try to do the same thing from a 401k, you're going to wind up with a tax bill bigger than you had bargained for. Some very smart and well-educated people, including lawyers and CPAs, have gone to tax court to argue this point, and none of them have walked away as the victor. Don't make the same mistake that they did. The third is to be able to take a distribution when you want. They call it a retirement account for a reason. It's supposed to be for your retirement. That said, life happens, and sometimes people need to access their funds sooner than planned. If you are still working for the company sponsoring your 401k and you need some additional funds, you are at the mercy of your plan's rules and, to the extent, the tax code when it comes to being able to access your money. Typically, access to funds is extremely limited, especially if you're still under the age of 59 and a half. In such cases, you may be able to take a loan from your 401k and you may be able to take a hardship distribution, but neither of those options is guaranteed to you legally. In contrast, if you have an IRA, you can typically take a distribution from your account whenever you want. There are no restrictions under the law whatsoever. Of course, as noted before, if you take a distribution from your plan or your IRA prior to age 59 and a half, you will generally owe income tax and a penalty. But if you really need those funds and there's nowhere else to turn, what choice do you really have? The fourth benefit is to aggregate RMDs between multiple accounts. Today, it's not uncommon for people to have several 401ks or similar plans accumulated over time through work with different employers. Similarly, many retirees have more than one IRA account. Some even have 10 or more. If you have more than one 401k and you're age 73 or older, you must calculate the RMD for each of those 401k plans separately, and you must take those RMDs separately from each plan. In contrast, if you have more than one IRA and you're 73 or older, an RMD must be calculated for each IRA. But if you want to, you can combine or aggregate the RMDs and take them from any one IRA or combination of IRAs as you choose without a penalty. If you accidentally took the same approach with your 401k plans, you'd be subject to a 50% penalty for each plan from which you did not take the appropriate distribution. The fifth is avoiding withholding. Paying your taxes is not optional. It's a requirement. You may, however, have a very low or even non-existent tax bill after applying all of your available deductions, exemptions, credits, and etc. Alternatively, you may have withholdings from other sources, such as a pension, or make estimated tax payments that are sufficient to cover your tax bill. In such cases, there is no reason to have any further amounts withheld from your retirement account distributions. Doing so would just be giving the government a tax-free loan until you filed your taxes and received your refund. If you have an IRA, you'd be able to avoid this because when you take a distribution from your IRA, you can opt out entirely of withholding. This, however, would not be the case if you had a 401k. In general, distributions from 401ks that are eligible for rollover are subject to a mandatory withholding of 20%, and there is no opt-out provision. After all, it isn't called a strongly suggested withholding. It's mandatory. So there you have it. 5 things you can do with an IRA that you cannot do with a 401k. Does that mean IRAs are better than 401ks? No, of course not. They're different. For some people, IRAs are better, while others will benefit more from a 401k. Could we, for instance, find 5 things you can do with a 401k that you can't do with an IRA? Absolutely. Who knows? You may even see something like that from us in the near future.